There are 3 reasons why I've bought this Mustang Mach-E from HPI. And the first one is, it says it does 70 plus miles an hour. And if you follow the channel, you know I love RC cars that say they'll do 70 plus mile an hour on the box. They're my favourite. And the third reason is, it's from HPI. It's not a Traxxas product, and it's not from Horizon Hobby. And anytime I can avoid giving them my money, I will.
You smart, you loyal, you're grateful. I appreciate that. Go buy your mama a house.
And the final reason, it looks f***ing awesome.
I'm in that new coupe, got been fired. I said what I said, right? Yeah, I get that check, right? I'm so blessed, right? Off of that jet pie, off of that west side. I'm in that new coupe, got been fired.
So I suppose we better get it out the box. What ways around does it go, that way? Brushless power, 3S compatible, steel metal diffs, shaft driven 4-wheel drive, threaded coilover shocks. And it is waterproof, which is good this time of year because it's always raining. Oh, and before I forget, 70 plus miles an hour, little star. I've not opened this yet, but it doesn't feel very secure in there. That does look very nice. Transmitter, not bad. Oh, bit of a stretch there for the old one-handed driving. Got a nice rubber pad there. It feels pretty good in the hand. Steering trim, throttle trim, steering jewellery. What's that? EPAs. It's got to be, is that steering and throttle EPAs? Third channel on the top. I don't think that does anything. Foam wheel. Yeah, not bad. That's probably going to get on your nerves, digging into your hand if you got big manly hands like me. Wheel wrench, Allen keys, spare body pins and some screws and a nut. A couple of spares there. Does that mean these are going to break easily? Steering links, some shock pistons, different types, some little spacers. Yes, that might be for your hinge pins to adjust your toe on the rear. I don't know. And mine was all loose in there. The cable ties are ripped out of there. Fully licensed Mustang Mach-E body. It looks so nice. And then this is the chassis. I believe that is a 4000 kV brushless motor there. There's your brushless ESC there. It is 3S compatible. Your receiver will be in there, and then you got your steering servo under there. This doesn't come with a battery, but there's your battery tray. It looks pretty big. It looks pretty basic as well. One battery strap, hopefully that's going to hold a battery in there. Fixed camber and toe at the front, fixed camber at the rear, metal drive shafts at the front. They are dog bones as well. I usually get them just at the rear. HPI have chosen to stick them on the front on this as well. Same at the rear. Like I've said, metal diffs, centre shaft there for your 4-wheel drive. Nice set of wheels. Road tyres, but they feel pretty sticky compound. So overall, pretty basic underneath. Now, look at how low it sits to the ground. Really, it's pretty much slammed. It's not touching. There's pretty much no suspension travel. There's a little bit of droop there, but not a lot at all. Front's got a little bit more, but again, not much suspension travel. On a super smooth surface, this thing will be awesome sat slammed like that. But we all know in reality, there's not many super smooth surfaces around, and most of us just want to bash it around a car park. We may need to do some adjustments. And there's also another issue that I noticed with the body mounted. That is really messing with my OCD. Look at it. Come on. But that's not the issue. Well, it is an issue, but if I push this side, suspension moves fine. If I push this side, it's hitting the tyre there, so it's not going all the way down. If I turn that wheel in just a little bit, there we go, look. Turn it back straight. So it just means the body's just slightly out and it's just sitting flush with that tyre. Not great. No issues on the rear apart from hardly any suspension travel, and those wheels are tucked way in. They could have done with being spaced out a bit probably. I love how it looks. I don't know what to do about that. I might just have to drive it like that. You really shouldn't have to be taking suspension apart and stuff straight out of the box, but I just don't think that rear suspension is just going to scrape around everywhere. I know it. I know it's going to. So I might have to take it apart before we go out, you know. Just dropping it gently. It's hitting, look, it's bottoming out. Oh, HPI. I've not even spoken about the 70 mile an hour yet. And it's sorted. but you shouldn't have to do that. If you're new to the hobby and you're thinking of buying one of these for your first RC, I'm not going to recommend it if you're not confident with taking stuff apart. And I know some of you might have wanted me to take this out of the box. I know it would have been trouble, and after seeing how this was set up, I had to search for other videos of this and I couldn't find any. But what I did find was is it the e-tron or the Audi version, and quite a few people had the same issues. So a little bit disappointed that HPI have not sorted these issues out. But don't worry, don't worry, I've done it for you. So the rear shocks have these little limiters in them, so I just removed them. That gives you an extra like mil of travel, not a massive amount. I've changed the position as well, so I moved it down one at the top and then in one on the bottom there. Now we got a nice amount of travel there. I didn't take the fronts apart because they had quite a bit of travel anyway. All I did was same as the rear, I moved it down one and then in one on there. Now we've got a nice stance, so I'm gonna get the body mount thing back on the back. I'm gonna charge a battery and we're gonna take it for its first rip. Here's a rare sight, guys. Super smooth tarmac with no cars. Building a new store here, so I've snuck in. It's a bit slippery though. It's been raining. It's cold. Now this thing, well, steering. I think this is nice. Now I can 100% tell you that this wouldn't have driven like this if I hadn't have done them little changes to it with the suspension. No body rub. It's not slammed to the floor. Steering feels like it's trying to pull to one side, and that might be where that wheel's rubbing. It feels nice though. Nice smooth throttle control. It's so slippery today. These are gyro and you could do some drifting with this bad boy. So I've got the GPS in it. Not sure if I'm going to get full throttle here on 2S, but we're going to give it a go anyway. And then we might have to find somewhere else to do the 3S run. In fact, let's get a photo while we're waiting for satellites. That is a nice photo. So cold today, I've had to put gloves on. Some of you are going to say, it's not cold. That's not cold. Well, it's cold for me. Right, let's see if I can get it full throttle. That steering is not great. It does seem to want to keep pulling now and again over to one side. That's, wow. It's full throttle-ish. Oh, there we go, full throttle. Ah, come on, man. Full throttle. Yeah, that was kind of, it's just too slippery. This surface is so, it's like ice. Definitely gonna have to go somewhere else for a 3S run. 51k, 32 mile an hour. That's not bad. 2S straight out of the box. I reckon it's got 35 in it. So 3S, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. So certainly runs nice and smooth. Do need to look at that steering. But overall, 2S performance, it's really good. And I'm pretty sure the chassis would have been dragging if I hadn't have adjusted it. What a cool looking RC car. Oh, now it goes straight. One-handed it goes straight. I can control it two-handed. So first impressions of the HPI Mach-E 1400. I know I've said this a few times, I'm going to say it again. If you're looking at buying one of these for your first RC car, or if you've only been in the hobby a little while, you're not confident sort of fixing stuff and changing stuff, don't buy it because of the issues we had out of the box. But putting them issues aside, tuning that suspension I know full well has made this so much better to drive. Too cold and wet to do a 3S run, unfortunately. We've got, what, 32 32 with a sketchy run, so definitely good for 35. Had a bit of a crappy battery in it as well, so it's definitely good for 35 plus on 2S. You're probably going to be looking at close to 50 or even more on 3S. And my plan is next for this, I've already ordered the speed gear set, which is like, it's quite expensive actually, and it's a 40-tooth pinion and quite a small spare gear. And it does say it's only for high speed runs, so it's probably pretty pointless for hooning around. But so once the high-speed gear set gets here, I'm going to do 2 stock runs on 2S and 3S, and then I'm going to do 2S and 3S with a high-speed gear set. That's all weather dependent. Like this at the moment is not going to go in a straight line. Putting more power in this than it's already got on 2S is not going to help. I'm sure it's the rubbing of that wheel that was making it a little bit twitchy. I was hitting the throttle and it was just pulling one way, and then I'd turn and it'd pull back again. So certainly I need to see how I can sort that out. I mean, ideally, it needs a little bit of camber there, so I might have to put some adjustable turnbuckles on it. They might be an upgrade, I'm not sure. But final thoughts. It's a good looking car. It's set up properly. It's nice to drive. Front spoilers come up again. Plenty of potential there. Only buy this if you're happy to do a little bit of tuning and fiddling around yourself. See you next time.